All right, so now we're on to QnAMaker, and so we're not going to need to do anything programmatically because QnAMaker is all about no code or low code to build out a questions and answers bot service. So what we'll do is go all the way up here, and I want you to type in QnMaker.ai because as far as I'm aware of, it's not accessible through the portal. Sometimes you can find these things, again, if we go to the marketplace. I'm just curious, I'm going to just take a look here really quickly. Whenever it decides to log us in here. Okay, great. So I'll go over to Marketplace. And probably if we type in Q&A, maybe we'd see something here, Q&A. Yeah, so we go here. Give it a second here. Seems like Azure is a little bit slow right now. It usually varies fast, but you know, the service varies. Well, it's not loading for me right now, but that's okay because we're not going to do it that way anyway. Again, go to QnAMaker.ai, and what I want you to do is go all the way to the top in the right corner, and we'll hit sign in. And what we'll be doing is connecting via our single sign-on with our account, so it already knows I have an account there. I'm going to give it a moment here, and I'm going to go ahead and just give it a second. There we go. So it says I don't have any knowledge base, which is true. So let's go ahead and create ourselves a new knowledge base. Here we have the option between stable and preview. I'm going to stick with stable because I don't know what's in preview. I'm pretty happy with that. And so we need to connect Q&A service to our knowledge base. And so back over here in Azure, actually, I guess we do have to make one. Now that I remember, we actually have to create a QnAMaker service. So I'll go down here and put this under my cog services. We'll say my QnA service. Might complain about the name. Yep, so I'll just put some numbers here. We'll pick free tier sounds good, so I'll go free. When I actually get the option, that's what I will choose. Down below, we'll choose free again. US East sounds great to me. It generates out the name. It's the same name as here, so that's fine. We don't need App Insights, but I'm going to leave it enabled because I think it changes it to standard or S0 when you do not have it enabled, unusually. And so we will create our QnAMaker service. Give it a moment here. And it says, I remember it will say like, even if you try, you might have to wait 10 minutes for it to create the service. So even after it's provisioned, it'll take some time. So what we should do is prepare our doc because it can take in a variety of different files. And I just want to show you here that the Q&A, they have a whole paper here formatting the guidelines. And basically, it's pretty smart about knowing where headings and answers is. So for unstructured data, we just have a heading and we have some text. So let's write some things in here that we can think of. Since we're all about certification, we should write some stuff here. So how many AWS certifications are there? I believe right now there are 11 AWS certifications. Okay. And maybe if we use our headings here, this would probably be a good idea here. Yep. Okay. Another one could be how many fundamental Azure certifications are there? And we'll give this a heading. We'll say there are 3 Azure. I think there's 3. There's other ones, right? Like Power Platform stuff, but just being Azure specific, there are 3 Azure fundamental certifications. So we have the DP900, the AI900, the AZ900. I guess there's 4. There's the SC900, right? So there are 4. Okay. We'll say which is the hardest Azure Association certification. And what we'll say here is, I mean, it's my opinion is it's the Azure Administrator Had some background noise there. That's why I was a bit pausing there. But the Azure Administrator AZ104, I would say that's the hardest. Which is harder? The AWS or Azure certifications. I'd say Azure certifications are harder because they check exact steps for implementation, where AWS focuses on concepts. Okay, so we have a bit of a knowledge base here, so I'll save it. And assuming that this is ready, because we need a little bit of time to put this together, we'll go back to QnA, hit a refresh here, give it a moment, drop it down, choose our service. And notice here that we have chit chat extraction and only extraction. We're going to do chit chat. I will say this will be the reference name you can change any time. This will be like certification Q&A. And so here we want to populate. So we'll go to files here. I'm going to go to my desktop. And here it is. I'll open it. We will choose professional tone. Go ahead and create that. And so I'll see you back here in a moment. All right, so after waiting a short little time here, it loaded in our data, so you can see that it figured out which is the question, which is the answer, and also has a bunch of defaults. So here, if somebody was asked something very silly, like, can you cry? I'll say, I don't have a body. It has a lot of information preloaded for us, which is really nice. If we wanted to go ahead and test this, we could go and say, we'll go here, and then we'll write in, we say like, hello. I say boring. This is good morning. Okay, so we'll say how many certifications are there? We didn't say AWS, but let's just see what happens. And so it kind of inferred, even though we didn't say AWS in particular. So and notice that there's AWS and Azure. So how many fundamental Azure certifications, things like that. And so it chose AWS. So it's not like the perfect service, but it's pretty good. I wonder what would happen if we placed in one that's like Azure. I don't know how many Azure certs there are. We'll just say like there's 11, 12. I can never remember. They're always adding more. But it does, I want to close this here. There we go. So let's just go add a new key pair here. And we'll say how many Azure certification are there? I should have said certifications. I'll probably just set in one moment. So there are 12 Azure certifications. Who knows how many they have? They give like 14 or something. We could say like between 11 and 14. They just add them. They just update them too frequently. I can't keep track. So we'll go here and we'll just say certifications, and we will save and retrain. So we'll just wait here a moment. Great, and so now we'll go ahead and test this again. So we'll say, how many certifications are there? And see, it's pulling the first answer. If I say Azure, let's see if it gets the right one here. How many Azure certifications are there? Okay, so, you know, maybe you'd have to say, you'd have to have a generic one for that match. So if we go back here and we say, how many certifications are there? You say, you know, like, which certification, which cloud service provider? Okay, we got AWS, Azure. Follow prompt. You can use guides through conversational flow. Prompts are used to link Q&A pairs and can be displayed. I haven't used this yet, but I mean, it sounds like something that's pretty good because there is multi-turn in this. So the idea is that if you had to go through multiple steps, you could absolutely do that. We could try this a little bit here. Follow prompt you can use to guide. Prompts are used to link Q&A pairs together. text or button for suggested action. Oh, okay. So maybe we would just do like AWS, link to Q&A, and then so search an existing Q&A or create a new one. So it'd say like, how many AWS, ooh, okay, we're typing it in. Context only, this follows up, will not be understood out of the context flow. Sure, because it should be within context, right? And here we can do another one. We say like Azure. We'll say, how many Azure? Context only. Whoops. It got away from me there. We'll save that. And what we'll do is save and train. So we'll go back here and we'll say, how many certifications are there? Enter. So we have to choose AWS. And so there we go. So we got something that works pretty good there. Since I'm happy with it, we can go ahead and go and publish that. So we'll say publish. And now that it's published, we could use Postman or curl to trigger it. But what I want to do is create a bot, because with Azure Bot Services, then we can actually utilize it with other integrations, right? It's a great way to use your bot or to actually host your bot. So we'll go over here. It'll link it over. If you don't click it, it doesn't preload it in. So it's kind of a pain. If you lose it, you have to go back there and click it again. But let's just say certification Q&A. And we will look through here. So I'm going to go with free, premium messages, 10K, 1K premium message units. I'm kind of confused by the pricing, but F0 usually means free, so that's what I'm going to go for that. SDK or Node.js. I'm going to use Node.js. Not that we're going to do anything there with it. We'll go ahead and create that. And I don't think this takes too long. We'll see here. And just go ahead and click on that there. I'll just wait here a bit. I'll see you back here in a moment. All right, so after waiting, I don't know, about 5 minutes there, it looks like our bot service is deployed. We'll go to that resource there. You can download the bot source code. Actually, I never did this, so I don't know what it looks like, so I'd be curious to see this, just to see what the code is. I assume that because we chose Node.js, it would give us that as the default there. So download your source code as your bot, creating the source zip. Not sure how long this takes. Might be regretting clicking on that, but what we'll do is we'll go on the left-hand side here to channels, because I just want to show here. Yeah, didn't download. We'll try here in a second, but what we'll do is we'll go back. Bot profile, unspecified bot. What are you talking about? Yeah, maybe it needs some time. So, you know, maybe we'll just give the bot a little bit of time here. I'm not sure why it's giving us a hard time, because this bot is definitely deployed. If we go over to our bots, right? Bot services, it is here. Sometimes there's like latency, you know, with Azure. And oh, there we go. Okay, see, it works now fine, right? And so I want to show you that there's different channels, and these are just easy ways to integrate your bot in different services. So whether you wanted to use it with Alexa, GroupMe, Skype, Telephony, Twilio, Skype, Business. Apparently they don't have that anymore, because I guess it's all Teams now, right? Keek, which I don't know if people still use that. Slack, which is that. Discord, Telegram, Facebook, email. That's kind of cool. But Teams is a really good one. I use Teams. There's a direct line channel. I don't know what that means. And there's web chat, which is just having like an embed code. So if we go over, we can go and test it over here. Just start testing our web chat. And so it's the same thing as before, but we could just say things like, how many certifications are there? Let's say like Azure and get a clear answer back. We'll go back up to our overview. Let's try to see if we can download that code again. I was kind of curious what that looks like. If it will download. Must be a lot of code, eh? There we go. So now we can hit download. And so there is the code. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. So yeah, I guess when we chose JavaScript, that made a lot more sense. Let's give it a little peek here. I'm just going to drop this on my desktop here. So let's make a new folder here and call this bot code. Okay, I know you can't see what I'm doing here, but let's go here and double click into here and then just drag that code on in. And then what we can do is open this up in VS Code. I should have VS Code running somewhere around here. I'm just going to go ahead and open that. I'm off screen here. I'll just show you my screen in a moment. Say show code. Oops. File, open folder, bot code, okay. And we'll come all the way back here. And so we've got a lot of code here. Never looked at this before, but you know, I'm a pretty good programmer, so it's not too hard for me to understand. So it looks like you got an API request, things like that. I guess it would just be like if you needed to integrate into your application, then it kind of shows you all the code there. I'm just trying to see our dialog choices. Nothing super exciting. Okay. You know, when I go and make the, was it the AI or the AI 100, whatever the data scientist course is, I'm sure I'll be a lot more thorough here, but I was just curious as to what that looks like. Now, if we wanted to have an easy integration, we can get an mbed code for this. So if we go back to our channels, I believe we can go and, is it edit? Ah, yes. So here we have a code. So what I'll do is go back to Jupyter Labs. I'm just going to go make a new empty notebook. So we'll just go up here and say notebook. And this can be for our Q&A. Doesn't really matter what kernel. We'll say QnAMaker. Just show like if you wanted a very, very simple way of integrating your bot, we would go back over to wherever it is here. Here we are. I'm going to go ahead and copy this iframe. I think it's percentage HTML. So it treats this cell as HTML. And I don't have any HTML to render, so we will place that in there. And notice we have to replace our secret key. So I will go back here and I will show my key and we will copy that. And we will paste that key in here. And then we'll run this. And I can type in here. Where am I? Just ask silly things. Who are you? How many Azure certifications are there? Well, I wonder if I just leave the are there off. Let's see if it figures it out. Okay, cool. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it with QnAMaker. So yeah, that's great. So I think we're done here and we can move on to checking out LUIS or LUIS, learning understanding to make a more robust bot. Okay.